Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'm going to take a look at and unbox the all new touring car from Axon. And this is the TC10/3, so this is the third generation, or indeed the third evolution of their touring car. And you might notice that the second one actually did really well at the recent World Champions. So this is an evolution of that. Now Axon might be known for their spur gears, pinions, shock oils. They do a lot of racing hardware and accessories, as well as really bespoke machine like turnbuckles and screws, and they are known for a really high manufacturing quality control, and like I said, Japanese quality. So I don't know what's in here. This is quite a bespoke kit. It's only a couple of these in Australia, and I dare say that this is an exclusive. So let's break the seal and get on in there. Here we go. Now this one is spoken for, but the owner of this, God love him, has given the permission to get in there and have a good old poke around. So what have we got? Okay, we open the box. Got some beautiful screws and hardware, bag E, bag D. We've got some spools and diffs. I'm going to have a little bit closer look in here, but I would like to see if there is in fact an instruction. And here we go. Here we have an assembly manual and a parts list. Now this is very good. This reminds me very much of the HR1 buggy. It's got QR codes for the assembly manual and the parts list. And the beauty about having a QR code for that is that you can look at it on pretty much any device. And being a QR coded PDF document, it can be fully pretty much live data. So setups can change, parts listings can change as parts evolved. So I'm actually going to get my phone out here. Let's have a look. I'm going to hold my phone over and let's open it up. Let's open up the manual and have a look what's in here. You can see my the full assembly manual. There you go. Look at that color, beautiful. That is amazing, and that's how easy it is. You can read the manual from anywhere, save it, download it, of course, and share it. Now I do love the fact that we are starting to build with turnbuckles. One of my least favorite steps, so it's good to get them done and out the way. Then we go into drive shafts, and these are ball race drive shafts, which are really nice. Then we're looking at the front spool, and so on and so forth. So let's have a look. Let's go a bit further. So that is the parts manual. Now let's have a look at the parts. Let's have a look at the listing of the parts. So that is going to provide us with a full spare parts listing. There you go. And it even has the Japanese yen. I mean, that's not really going to convert very well to Australian dollars, but nonetheless, you will be able to figure out a formula and a rough guide on your prices. That is magnificent. Full parts listing with live. Beautiful. And that can constantly evolve as the car evolves. So they can change the setup, alter the sway bars, so on and so forth. Let's have a look. Completely empty the box now. Now the first thing I'm going to look at is the belts, because I bet these belts, now it might seem a nice sticker sheet, of course, put that back in. The belts you'll find are Axon branded belts, which is really nice, and these are a black rubberized belt, black, and definitely black in color. Because there's a few different series belts. So the front one is a 351, and the rear belt, I'm assuming, I'll have to have a look as we do the build, is a 348. So there is approximately 3 teeth difference in the belt size. So you can see here, Axon SM3, 3mm wide, 348 teeth. And this one here, again, Axon S3M 351. So it does have a longer and a shorter belt. Really cool, but these are going to be really high quality, heaps of carbon in there, and I'm sure really strong. Let's have a look at the chassis. Got my 9 steps hobby knife here. got a relatively fresh blade in there, and that scares me because every time I put a fresh blade in my hobby knife, I usually bleed. Have a look at this carbon. And I like the fact that they haven't gone with the current on-trend matte carbon. They have in fact gone for semi-gloss. And it is really, I'm just having a look at the countersinking and the machining on it, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice, highest quality, exactly what I'd expect from Axon. Beautiful layout in the carbon. I've even got CNC machined. So a lot of cars will have reliefs in there or open. Axon, that is the front, between the front bulkheads. 2 bulkheads bolt in there. Axon keeping it covered up, keeping debris out. Got the hole in the center here for the spur gear. Milled out on the motor side and in fact the battery. And the reason that manufacturers mill out both sides is to get a symmetrical flex characteristic across the chassis. And of course the rear has definitely got a relief in it. It's not all the way milled out. And straight away I notice it's got the balance pins in there, which is really nice for setting up and building the car. Nice little touch there. That would have been part of the not only manufacturing process, but it also helps us with our race setup and getting the cars dialed in. Top deck, look at this top deck, beautiful. Looks like we've got heaps. It looks like we've even got flex options. I don't know that we're going to go cutting an Axon top deck up. Really, really nice. 3 bulkhead screws. Looks like they've induced a lot of flex at the front of this car. Here we go. Let's have a look into bag A. Now I don't think we're going to find a whole heap of plastic components on this car. I think we're going to find that a lot of it is carbon fiber and very much alloy. So here we have our body post. Nothing too exciting there, front and rear. A very, very familiar bumper on this car. I'm not saying that it's a Yokomo bumper, but it's probably a Yokomo bumper. Here we have the front bumper support, rear shock tower and front shock towers of the split design, and we've got a bulkhead tie here. All looks very, very nice. What else have we got? I can hear by the rattling we've got a load of alloy parts. And you can see that Axon is a small time manufacturer, a bespoke manufacturer, just the way everything's sealed up. It's been hand stapled because it's like crooked and off center and that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of Ziploc bags, which is not something that you see outside of small time manufacturers. Here it looks like we've got a battery hold down and a servo mount. Servo mount is beautiful, obviously displaying the screen printed there with Axon on it, so you know exactly what you're driving. World spec performance. So it'd be a central mount servo to get the right flex characteristics, and then the servo mounts on the 3 points here. 1, 2, 3. Here we have definitely got, don't need the instruction manuals for this. I know that there's definitely the battery retainer, and straight out of the box of course you're getting carbon fiber, not plastic, which then you have to upgrade. And these are elongated here because I'd say there's a lot of adjustment to slide in and out to get your perfect weight distribution and to allow for different size lipo configuration to go in. Here we have the motor mount. Now I do want to cut this one open because I want to have a closer look at the motor mount. Now they've gone for a nice matte carbon finish on most of their parts here, and beautiful motor mount. It's not overcomplicated. Looks like we've got plenty of adjustment. I'll just use my hobby knife here, hopefully don't gouge it. Plenty of room for adjustment on the motor, so it should take a lot of from stock to modified gearing. There's a big window here. So we've got a belt tensioner front, belt tensioner rear. Really nice. Looks like we've even got a relief up here, and that could be for the receiver wire. Would have to check, but see how that's definitely milled out. So there's a relief running along this side, and that could fit your receiver wire, or in fact your ESC wire that plugs into a receiver. Have to have a look. I've not seen one of these cars actually assembled. Be a top deck or battery post, and a spacer, of course. Put that to the side. That is bag A. I'm going to get this to the side. I'm going to try not to make too much of a mess for the new owner of his bespoke new kit. Now let's have a look at bag B. Bag B does contain sway bars, front and rear. Looks like we've got some turnbuckles in there. Get these other parts out of the way. Oh, here's another part of bag A. Now this is going to be really nice. Let's open this up. These are the bulkheads and diff adjusters, and I am hoping that the diff adjusters, the eccentric adjusters for your diff and your belt tension, is in fact precision machined alloy, which is a really nice touch, and there's no other way but to zoom in on this. It's even got the line here already pre-painted in it, so you can get the correct alignment on whatever adjustment you have. Really nice, well machined, hard anodized. Here are the bulkheads. Again, look at the quality of this. Everything is just super neat and tidy. And for this one, they're not using a spring and sort of ratchet ball. They are literally just using teeth and the adjuster to get your alignment of your diff done. So there's definitely a tooth cut into the adjuster and lines cut into the bulkhead where you can just get a beautiful fit, and obviously it's going to clamp down by the top. So really good, simple and lightweight, effective way to make sure you've got perfectly aligned diffs and spool in your car. Really nice. Here's the upper bulkhead mounts. Looks like it's also incorporating the camber link and probably the shock tower mount, I would say, here. So it looks like we've got two left and two right bulkheads. So there's not different front and rear by the look of it. So replacement parts, there's only sort of two, not four. Bulkheads, again, it looks like there's only two different bulkheads, not four, which is going to make spare parts a lot easier. Yep, that is going to be the same bulkhead front and rear, same alignment points, and this one here is definitely going to be the same as well. Perfect, same bulkhead. So there's only two parts there. Eccentric diff adjuster. That was beautiful. This has me super excited. Bag B. What have we got here in bag B? Okay, starting off with, what have we got here? Sway bars. Nice thin. I like the way that they've even gone as far as to packing them on cardboard to make sure that they're not getting damaged or bent. So we'll put this to the side here. We've got some pivot balls, probably for the sway bar, I would say. Let's have a look. Here we have our carbon arms, and this is all new for Axon. Their last TC10 version 2 didn't have carbon arms. It did in fact have composite plastic arms. Here we have the arm parts tree. Now, like I said, there is a parts tree in here. I was expecting it to all be alloy, but that looks like a sway bar mount or something. That is a very nice looking parts tree. Axon, like I said, anything they manufacture and make is to the highest quality. So that will go into the arm, and the other hardware that bolts onto the arm is in fact machined aluminium, anodized. It almost looks identical to the plastic, but I can guarantee you they've managed to get exactly the same pattern or patina into the alloy and the plastic, but it is definitely alloy. Got our screw hardware. I'm going to put that together because there's some little parts to go missing that the new owner will not appreciate. This one here, what have we got here? Looks like, again, it looks like more hardware for the suspension arms. And this is a really, really thin, is it alloy? Really, really thin alloy piece. And this will be an insert, I imagine, for the arm. And it's probably tunable to a flex characteristics. Where is the arm? Let me have a look here at the arm. Let's get the arms out so I can see what we're working with. Absolutely they are. So you can see here that we've got the cutout like so. And not only does that look super neat, that's also that alloy is gonna give you a really good basis point if you're mounting brackets and hardware. But that'll also be used, I bet, as a flex option, keeping the arm very true and straight. Now there's tiny machining marks on here. Looks like we've got adjustments. There's 3 holes slightly elongated here. If I can get the camera nice and sharp. We've got 3 holes. So I've got 3 points of adjustment here to slide, I'd say, the lower shock mount in and out on the arm. And we've got this cutout here where the steering block will mount the hinge pin. Now it does use an outer hinge pin arrangement, like so. Sort of similar to the newcomer, just a little bit different in the way that it seems to locate over the arm like so. And that is machined aluminium, this piece. So it sandwiches over the arm, and that will do up through here. And that will also give us the relief for the hole for the hinge pin. So the hinge pin is running on metal to metal, so the hard anodized aluminium. So the hinge pin is in fact not running on carbon fiber, which is good because the carbon fiber is quite, I suppose, resistive, or it's got quite a lot of bit of friction in it when you start running hinge pins against it. Beautiful. So that is the front, some of the front arm features. Let me get this one in here. Over here, like I said, there's the hinge pins. We've got some Teflon washers in there to get everything shimmed up and spaced up. The arms look to be 4mm thick, 3.5mm thick, without taking a measuring device to them. More of the arm hardware here. We've got pillow balls in the bottom here, semi-pillow ball arrangement, and looks like we've got some more probably lower shock mounting and sway bar mounting in this bag. That is beautiful. Here we've got nothing too exciting. You can see already we've got turnbuckles and ball cups, and you can bet that these turnbuckles will be titanium. I don't think that these will be steel. Yeah, definitely. These are definitely titanium turnbuckles. They could even be anodized aluminium. The color is sort of telling me that they are, like I said, a good read through the instructions will, I'm sure, reveal all in the parts listing. And here we have the ball cups, and again, these are all precision machined aluminium, and these are hard coated, hard anodized for low friction and smooth running. Really nice. Be really nice plastic ball cups there. What else have we got in bag B? Here we have got more hardware. It looks like we've got steering arms. Here you go. So this is where the steering is going to happen. And I like the fact that all four corners are the same. So front and rear steering blocks are in fact all the same. Left and right. Nope. They don't seem to be left and right. Yep, so one steering block, this one here, will do any corner of the car. Again, making spare parts really cheap and easy, and making racing the car really good, because you're only going to have one corner built. But have a look at it. That is really nice machined. That's where your bearings are going to go, and your axle's going to run through, front or rear. Beautifully designed steering hubs. Here it looks like we've got some inserts. I'd say various settings inserts, I'd say. Here we've got a carbon fiber, so these are the parts that will go onto the steering block to give us the geometry that we need. Fantastic. That is really nice. And the best thing about it is there's going to be very little flex characteristics. Biggest problem I can see with those steering blocks is bending, but you're probably going to bend a whole lot more before you just bend that. And here we have the other part, effectively what we would know as a caster block. And again, it's going to be sort of a semi-pillow ball arrangement. And that's going to keep everything nice and true. That's where the inserts will go, through here, keeping everything nice and tight and friction free. And have a look at the quality of this aluminium machining. Like I said, Axon are known for it, and for very good reason. Really beautiful. It's like radio controlled jewelry. Really, really nice quality. Better quality I have not seen in my time with RC. Alright, that was bag B. Let's have a look for bag C. We've got shocks here. Again, these will be very familiar to a lot of people, so they look very similar to the current hardware on many of the touring cars. Like I said, nobody really makes a bad shock these days. A lot of people do in fact use Axon springs on their cars. They're really good. We've got really nice Teflon pistons in there, and beautiful hard anodized shocks. You wouldn't expect anything less from these guys. We do have E-clips on shock shafts, which is very common with 1/10 touring cars. Beautiful polished shock shafts. You can see quite short, probably 19mm I would say. They could be the same front and rear. I'd have to investigate further. Looking forward to doing a build. Maybe the owner will let me build this one. No, I'm sure that that's actually going to be one of the best parts of owning this car, is in fact the build. The build of this car will be absolutely beautiful. I've got a load of bearings here, which is really nice. I can't confirm whether they are in fact ceramic or anything special without reading all the specs. But there's your bearing kit, and again you can bet that they're beautiful Japanese bearings. Looking at the front spool and the out drives, I'm going to cut that open. Looks very similar now. Very classic of the Japanese manufacturer to use a plastic, and I say plastic, it's definitely a composite plastic. Beautiful machined spool there. It's amazing the amount of punishment that these can take. and I'm sure in the instructions it'll recommend you put just a small amount of CA or super glue on there to hold it all together. Absolutely beautiful. The spool is a very simple and effective device on the front end of these cars, not using a differential. And these are out drives. You might go, wow, these have got massive big reliefs cut into these out drives. And I can bet you that these are running the tiniest small ball bearings in here, in the out drive itself. And what these ball bearings will do will give you a very little slop and free play in the front end, and also providing a very, very small amount of resistance, almost friction free under any sort of load or operation angle. So a really good point there. We've got aluminium inserts. Oops, there it goes. Really nice. That's going to lock into the spool and yeah, not go anywhere. A beautiful feature. Going to put these away. What have we got here? Differential and drive shafts. Now, the rear oil filled diff, it's going to be nothing special there. It's going to be very common with the rear diffs that you're used to seeing. Again, composite plastic casing. Still got our beautiful out drives like the front ones. Plastic gears internal. And it's no different to what Yokomo are using, for example. It does look all very similar to the modern stuff. People go, oh, like plastic gears and the diffs, but these are on-road cars, even with 4.5 turns maximum sort of turbo, the diffs don't usually provide to be a problem or point of concern or risk any failure. Here we have our super hub set, and I really like this. This is something that came around on the BD10 LCR. It was really, really good. It is an option part still on Yokomos. The Axon have included it as part of their build, and this is really nice. And they've given here a load of shims, and what these shims will actually be shims to adjust your track width. So it's really nice to have that amount of, so these will probably be 0.2 or even maybe 0.1 mil, probably 0.25 I'd say, 1/4 millimeter shims, and that will go over, that can go over your hex to alter the track width. Yeah, pins and a simple little O-ring to hold it all together, and that locks through your through your drive shaft, holding it all together with very little slop. And from all reports, it does make the your setup station really, really accurate, and also provide you massive amounts of traction. Oops. If I start losing parts, it's really going to upset the new owner. I'm going to put these away. I didn't realize there was so many shims in there. So they give you plenty of tuning scope straight out of the box. Okay, I've got these over here. And here we have our drive shaft barrels or bushes. And these are, again, these are all hard anodized aluminium, and that is, they've offered this for option part now for Yokomo and even X-rays too. But these are really nice and preferred on sort of the I want to say the fast guys, but generally those who really, really pay a lot of attention to their car, service it and look after it and love it. You'll find that they all have Axon bushes on their outdrive, because they give just the next level of operation, reduce weight and reliability. Does away with the whole grub screw holding the drive pin into the drive shaft. And here we have drive shafts front and rear. Now there's a distinct difference here, and I dare say that the front ones, these ones here, the front ones will be steel. These ones here, they'll be steel bones, a lot narrower so they can fit through the arc of the geometry. And of course the front ones will be double CVD. So they have a pivot point at the rear, and also have the stub axle coming out the front. So that's why there's 2 in the packet, and they will be mated to those hardened steel drive shaft bones. And then looking for these ones here, these beautiful anodized lightweight aluminium. These will be used on the rear, and that's because they use a single axis CVD, constant velocity drive shaft, something like this. And they're even doing it with it looks like to be an open or exposed barrel. So just like that, it's going to be rotating around. Minimalist approach, definitely, but still going to be maximum performance. And the front one, that will be the stub axle for the front, locating into this one side of this barrel, like I said, and formulating the drive shaft through this point of this pivot point here. Really nice, really strong and robust, gives you really good traction on the front end and really smooth steering characteristics under high speed. And if I'm driving it, duress is the main thing. Going to pack these away. Beautiful drive shafts. I've not seen these milled down so far. This to me, oh no, it's steel. I was going to say it might be an aluminium stub axle. And here we have the last part of the drive shaft, and I'm not going to open it all the way, but I'm going to try and just take, because these are tiny bearings and E-clips, and if you do not like E-clips and fiddly things, you are going to hate these. These are probably 1.5 mil E-clips, and these bearings here probably have, they're probably like 2 by 3 by 3. I don't know the specs off the top of my head, so probably a 2 mil inner diameter, 3 mil, 4 mil outer, and they'll be probably 3 mil thick. But yeah, so these will go onto your out drives and form the part that goes into, onto your dog bones. That will be the last step that goes onto your dog bone through the cross pin, and that will form part of the last part of your drive shaft that goes into your out drives. And there's the cross pin there, so each axle getting one of these cross pins. So that is something that you definitely want to take your time with and make sure that you're not distracted while you're doing those ones up. I'm going to put those away, and they provide the most brilliant feel to your touring car. They're really, really nice. They even provide a spur gear. That's nice. Not a lot of touring cars do these days. 110, so it's definitely aimed at modified 110 tooth spur gear. No surprise, surprise, being Axon in brand. And here we have a center drive pulley, and I really like this. This is alloy, and it screws together. So that is a really nice touch there by Axon. The way that this mounts together like this, it will all key together, and it will sandwich the spur gear. So the spur gear will in fact be like screwed to the pulleys. I will have to read the instructions on this. So that will go one side of the spur gear. Let's have a look here. So this will go one side of the spur gear, like so. And that will screw up, and then we'll have this one on here, and that will screw up as well, and that gives a really nice, solid and quality drive unit. Shouldn't cause any slipping. There'll be no free play. That is beautiful. Like I said, there's going to be some 2 mil screws in there that's going to hold that together, because it's going to be the only fiddly part. But apart from that, what a brilliant idea. Beautiful engineering. Can I get these off the spur gear now? and makes changing spur gears quite easy. Really reliable pulley system, putting down bulk power. What have we got here? Bag E. Now this is a load of screws, fixtures and fittings, so there's nothing going to be too excited here. That is the last bag of the car, and you're going to have to open this up as probably one of the first steps. So they use these adjustable washers or shims throughout the car. They're using a beautiful silver, or what do you call it, grey anodizing for that really classy look. Got a lot of different set screws in there and a lot of hardware. Now the car does come predominantly with steel screws, which I'm a little surprised by. I half expect it to be full of alloy and titanium screws, but steel screws, which to be honest probably makes more sense. The car's probably that underweight that, yeah, putting the titanium screws in it was just going to tip it over the point of ridiculousness. Fantastic, that is bag E. Alright, well that is the bottom of the box. We've got left with our chassis, and yeah, that is the Axon TC10 version 3. So I'm Brett from Hearns Hobbies, and thanks for watching me unbox this bespoke touring car from Axon. Thanks for watching.